Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I want to talk about this AOC thing again because it's absolutely fascinating, the layers and layers of psychological operations that are packed on top of each other as we talk about this. And I wanted to come at this from a perspective of, and I got a couple pages pulled up right here. I know I'm doing this on my phone. Hope you guys don't mind on that. I'm trying to get an upgrade so I can go to OBS. My system right now can't handle it. But here's the deal. The most important thing in the tool chest of bankers, the most important tool is division. They've got to keep us divided. They've got to keep us distracted. If we're not distracted and divided, then the gig is up. We'll know en masse, not just little pockets of people, but en masse who controls us and how they control us, and they can't have that. There's way more of us than there are of them. They know that, and so they have to manipulate us. The problem is we're very easy to manipulate. All you have to do is create a good guy and a bad guy, a protagonist and an antagonist. I mean, think about any good movie. Any good movie has these three elements. It has firearms involved, it has a good guy, and it has a bad guy. And that's what makes for a good storyline. And here's the catcher. Here's the clinch. The clincher is that the bad guy is seen by a lot of people as the good guy. It's how WWE, or used to be WWF, got so popular. A person would see Andre the Giant, who was really the bad guy, as the good guy, so they'd root for him. And anytime they heard Hulk Hogan talk, they would dig in more. They would double down on their position of, hey, Andre the Giant is the good guy. Yeah, it's all fake, but people really took this as real. It's the same thing today. And anytime Andre the Giant talked, the people on the Hulk Hogan site would dig in just a little more. They would hunker down just a little bit more and be more solidified in their cognitive dissonance. And that's really what it was. Who in their right mind would release hard-earned funds? Yeah, it's all entertainment and stuff like that, but people really took WWE, used to be WWF, seriously. And these days, people take CNN seriously and MSLSD and Fox News. So when Fox News talks, the CNN crowd goes, oh, nothing that they say is true, which is correct, because the overarching theme of Fox News is to deceive you. If you mix in a little bit of lies with the truth, you automatically don't have truth anymore. And that's what this Trump Russia collusion thing, and vice versa, guys. When CNN talks, the people in the Fox News or Trump camp hunker down and they bear down more and they hold tighter to their own cognitive dissonance positions, and sometimes right, well, all the time rightly so. When CNN talks, all they're doing is lying. And so that's what the bankers are depending on, is to distract them, deceive them, and ultimately divide them into keeping it polarizes us so that we can keep from being united. And I'm not talking about united as in partisanship, because anytime the Republicans and Democrats get together, or like I like to call Republicrats and Demoplicans, when they get together, it's never a good thing for the people. Never. Partisanship is not a good thing. It's even worse than the division that we have in Congress. You don't want a united Congress because they're always united against you and for themselves. It increases their coffers and it increases the reach of their power because they make more laws and they do it in a partisan way. Ooh. So we see that in WWE wrestling. We see that in CIA Operation Mockingbird propaganda, the 24/7 propaganda cycle of CNN, MSLSD, and Fox News. We see that in Congress. We have the House and we have the Senate. We have the Republicrats and the Demoplicans. We have red team and blue team, and everybody's always divided, but nobody's talking about the real issue. Yeah, they may talk about auditing the Fed every now and then, but they will never condemn the Fed. They will never call our system of money, our currency system, a dishonest money system. They'll never talk about the petrodollar recycling Ponzi scheme. They'll never talk about the narco dollar. They'll never talk about why the military industrial complex is really in power. They'll never talk about why Israel controls Congress or the fact that Israel controls Congress. They'll never talk about that stuff, but what they will talk about is Trump Russia collusion. Trump Russia collusion in this Ukraine investigate Biden because Trump said so on some phone call, and the transcripts and the whistleblower. It's all about one thing. It's about solidifying the slave class into the continuation of the election cycle, because both of those are all linked to election meddling. It's so important that we safeguard our precious election process, which is really not an election process, it's a C-election process. Everybody you see on the Democrat debate stage, the candidate, the nominee has already been chosen. You don't know it yet, but the guys behind the curtain know it. Just like the Republican thing. I've told you guys about this when I was involved in the Ron Paul campaign and became a delegate for my state convention. And then we saw what happened in the national convention in Tampa that year in 2012. It didn't matter what the voice of the people was. Ron Paul soundly won the election in Oklahoma. I saw it firsthand, recorded it. Don't have the hard drive anymore, but I recorded it. The Ron Paul line wrapped around the building, the Mitt Romney line at their table, two people, and they were the two volunteers who worked there. Ron Paul soundly won the election in Oklahoma. Sweet. It wasn't even close, guys. It's like Mitt Romney might as well not shown up. Ron Paul won it, but they gave the nomination to Romney anyway. And at the national convention, when Boehner was presiding over it, he was just reading the teleprompter. He did not care about what the voice of the people said. Not at all. Not at all. It's all fixed on both sides. Romney was their man. They wanted to put him in so that he would lose to Barack Obama, and that's exactly what happened. So it's not an election process. It's a C-election process, and that's exactly what Trump-Russia collusion and this Ukraine thing is all about, from Fox News and from CNN. It doesn't matter what side of the issue Fox News and CNN are on. The bottom line is both Fox News and CNN, the thread line that holds them together and joins them at the hip, like Siamese twins, is we've got to protect the election process. We've got to keep the slave class thinking that they have power to control who rules who. And that's completely solidifying us in the cognitive dissonance of immorality. Because if you're of the mind of, oh, I want my ruler to rule over me and I want my ruler to rule over you against your will, without your consent, you're doing that which is absolutely immoral, and we can't win as a society. People are saying, Brian, what's the solution then? If you're so smart and you think you have all the answers, what's the solution? The solution is to break the cognitive dissonance cycle and all the psychological operations that they've been layering on us year after year after year, to the point where we don't even see the problem anymore. Trump-Russia collusion was never the problem. If it was, why aren't we objecting? Why isn't everybody objecting to Trump-Israeli collusion? There's major collusion there, to the point where Bibi Netanyahu says Americans are easy. They're so easy to move. They're always going to be for us, because all you have to do is yell anti-Semite, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, and then they just back off. It's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be labeled an anti-Semite. Israel is in the driver's seat. That puts the Zionist international bankers in the driver's seat, and that's what's wrong with this. What's going on, and you can see it with this AOC thing, which I'm going to be talking about right now. It's revealed who AOC, who trolled AOC, but it doesn't matter. Look at the looks and the expressions, or actually non-expressions, on the face of the people who were involved in that trolling campaign. Like this. If you and I were in that crowd, we'd be like, what are you talking about? Eating babies. If you're not clued into this, let me play this clip real quick, just so everybody's up to speed. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. It's been trending on Twitter all day. For hours, this has been trending on Twitter. Hashtag eat the babies. You might be wondering, why is hashtag eat the babies trending on Twitter? Well, here's why right here. Because this girl right here, let me pull this down and make this bigger for you so you can see it. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, nice. Come on, computer. Oh, I know it gets bigger than that. Shoot, I'm just going to have to put it up here. All right, we're going to have to go small on this. Here's what this is all about. Eat the babies. Hashtag eat the babies. Hashtag eat the children. Hopefully you can see that. Please pass the ketchup, says Broken Record.
But we're not going to be here for much long because of the climate crisis. We only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel.
I love that you support the Green Deal. Completely disarms all these people right here. It disarms them, because it's like, oh, she's a supporter of the Green Deal. This is absolutely a perfect psychological operation. This is perfect trolling because first of all, she lays on the accolades. I love that you support the Green New Deal. But later she goes, I'm glad you support this. This is great, but we have to accelerate this climate change program. It's getting rid of fossil fuels is not enough. Even eating human beings is not enough. We have to eat the children.
But it's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not.
A Swedish professor saying we can eat dead people. Let's see. I think I have that pulled up. Let's see. I have it in. Let's see. Let me just go to this real quick. Oh shoot, I don't have it. I don't have it pulled up. But yeah, she's right. A Swedish professor. By the way, this is a troll that you're looking at right here. She's trolling AOC. She's trolling. Let me turn this around twice so that you can see it clearly. Oh, that helps. Let's see. That's better. Anyway, yeah, a Swedish professors did say, okay, to solve part of the way we can solve this climate change thing is we can start eating human beings. The guy is totally serious.
That's enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time.
So she takes off her jacket, and you probably can't read this because this is such poor quality, but it says, "Save the planet, eat the children."
Too much CO2. All of you.
Now she's saying the talking points. There's so much CO2, and this disengages their minds. It keeps them from critically thinking because she is right now saying what everybody is believing, that we got to take care of the CO2 and we got to pretty much do anything we can because they've already been conditioned by AOC. We've only got 12 years left. Now it's only 11 years left. Oh my God, we got to do something. So their critical thinking has been completely disengaged. If you look at their faces, nobody's wrinkling their nose at the prospect at the suggestion that we would eat babies to save the planet. And the reason for that is because she's hitting the talking points and completely disconnecting their brains from reality. Interesting, very interesting.
You're a pollutant.
John Bat says, is she trolling or is she for real? Turns out she's trolling, and I'm going to show you the people who actually put her up to this. It's actually a Trump political action committee called LaRouche. They took credit for it on Twitter, and a lot of people are coming out against them. And, rightly or wrongly so, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is the reaction or the non-reaction of the crowd and the non-reaction and the non-condemnation from AOC. That's what really matters.
So much CO2. We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal. But
there you go. More accolades for AOC, and this catches them off guard. They don't know how to handle this. Okay, they're thinking in their minds, obviously, this girl is for AOC. She's for the Green New Deal. She's for climate change. And she's even speaking like Greta Thunberg with that same kind of accent. So she's a foreigner. She's for climate change. She loves Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Obviously, she's a Democrat. So let's give her a good listening to. Let's not criticize her because she's one of us. It's classic trolling, guys. Classic. It's beautiful, actually. And I love what it exposes, even though I'm not for the organization, I'm not for her or the organization or the left versus right paradigm that they're trying to push, because it's all part of the deception. It's still absolutely fascinating. It's something we can all learn from. The depth of the trauma-based psychological operation, the state-run psychological operation from state-run media and corporate media is fascinating, guys. Fascinating. Talk about disarming critical thinking.
It's not enough. Even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people.
Bombing Russia, suggesting to bomb Russia to get people off the planet so we can save the planet, eating children so we can save the planet.
Too much pollution. So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. Just stopping having babies and
stop having babies and start eating the babies. That's what she's saying. Not just stop having the babies, but start eating them.
We need to eat the babies. And this is very serious. Please give a response.
We need to eat the babies. This is very serious. Climate change is so serious, and drastic changes in the climate deserve a drastic response. And her drastic response is, we got to eat the babies. Obviously, isn't that as plain as the nose on your face? And all these people are just such brain dead lemmings that they can't even bring themselves to humanly object to this ludicrous idea. And then here's AOC, guys.
Thank you, thank you. We'll go.
Here's AOC's non-response, non-condemnation.
Go ahead. Okay. No, we'll go ahead. It's a, no.
She's saying, I thought you were serious. I thought you were serious about climate change. What's the deal? So she's putting her on blast, saying, if you're really serious, it's the false dichotomy they always put us into, guys. The false dichotomy, for example, with gun control is, oh, if you love the children, you'll get rid of your weapons. If you don't get rid of your weapons, you don't love children. So it's either get rid of your weapons and love children, or you hate the children. So the classic trolling here is, and the perfect, fascinating psychological operation is reversing the argument of what people would call libtards. I don't want to get into the left versus right paradigm, but you know what I'm saying. The perfect reverse of what they always do to us is, oh, if you love the children, then you'll get rid of your guns. You don't get rid of your guns, you don't love the children. So she's saying, if you really cared about the climate, AOC, and all you AOC followers, if you really, really cared about the climate, then you would get rid of the children. And it's logical that if you want to speed up this process of helping the climate, then we got to eat the kids. Got to eat the kids. That's fascinating. It's actually brilliant. I'm not for the organization that did this, but it is an absolutely brilliant social experiment.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I think, yeah, no, so.
She said, I thought you really cared. I thought you really cared. And this even disarms AOC, guys. You know AOC is groomed for this. She is groomed.
One of the things that's very important to us is that we need to treat the climate crisis with the urgency that it does present. Luckily, we have more than a few months.
Me and my girlfriend were laughing at this today. So what she chooses to talk about is, oh, we have more than a few months. Not, look, we want to save the climate, but we don't want to eat babies to do it. I don't care. Later on, AOC, and let's see if I have this pulled up. Let's see. AOC actually, and I did this in my last video. Let's see. Where's AOC? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Later, AOC says, and at first, in this first tweet right here, she doesn't really realize, no, she doesn't realize at all that she was being trolled. She says, we had a fabulous town hall tonight, and I'll be highlighting some moments from it. At one point, I was concerned there was a woman in crisis and want to ensure we treat the situation compassionately. Let's not mock or make a spectacle. So she was looking at people on the right mocking, but she thought, oh, they're mocking this poor girl who's obviously having in mental distress. And then she says right here, this person may have been suffering from a mental condition, and it's not okay that the right wing is mocking her. What she didn't initially understand was the right was mocking not this girl, but AOC, and potentially making her condition or crisis work. Be a decent human being and knock it off. Yeah, like AOC is anyone to talk about being a decent human being. So let me just finish this up right here, and then I'll get to revealing who exactly was behind this, in keeping with the title of the video.
We do need to hit net zero in several years.
I don't know how she can say that because
this is from my last video. I'm just pulling this clip off here. Let me just advance this. Let's see. I don't think I play the rest of this. Okay, so the bottom line is AOC doesn't go, yes, we care about the climate, but ma'am, with all due respect, she could have been very, like, she was talking about handling this situation with kid gloves and being real careful just in case this woman had a mental, I don't care if you think the person's having a mental breakdown or not. I don't care if you think you need to walk on eggshells around this person or not. The normal human response to such an outrageous suggestion of eating babies to save the planet would be, with at least preface it with all due respect, ma'am, we do want to save the planet, but eating babies, killing and eating babies, human babies, is not how we arrive at that solution. That's not the solution. I'm sorry. But she doesn't do it because she can't do it, because she's evil. She is literally, AOC is evil, and she's making all of her followers evil because she is helping to cement all these people. And yeah, they have a choice. They're adults. Nobody's making them be cemented in their cognitive dissonance, but this is all part of the psychological operations. And this is why this thing is so fascinating, is because the bankers are just sitting here going, God, it's going to be an even better Christmas than it was last year and the year before, because people are still buying into this AOC versus Trump versus Rashida Tlaib versus Congress versus Ilhan Omar thing. And they're so wrapped up in their cognitive dissonance that they actually think that voting works when all it does is keep the slaves on their plantation. So one slave goes to this voting box and votes blue so that his ruler can rule over the reds, and this guy, this red slave, the Republican slave, goes to the voting box and votes red so that their ruler can rule over the people in the blue. And the whole time the red and the blue team is voting for immorality and completely oblivious to what's actually going on. That's why I say Trump-Russia collusion and this Trump-Ukrainian get on the phone and investigate Biden. Investigating corruption is a good thing. If the vice president of the United States was involved in Ukrainian corruption and was actually withholding $1 billion tax dollars until the Ukrainian president did something, as far as, we gotta protect Biden's son, and then if you get rid of that investigator, that lead investigator, then guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna release those funds. That's corruption, guys. There'd be nothing wrong with that on its face, but even that's all part of the dog and pony show. Every single bit of it is part of the three-ring circus under the big top. Period. The spotlight comes on, and all the people that paid their ticket and the cult of personality that are under that big top, that paid to see the show. That's why Juvenal said, give them bread and circuses and they shall never revolt. Keep them distracted, deceived, and divided, and they shall never revolt. This is all bread and circuses. And as poignant as this psychological operation is, where this girl said, we got to eat the babies to save the planet, and AOC doesn't respond appropriately like a human being, it's all part of that one show. And it's all part of throwing the clouds up into the air or muddying the water so that you can't see with clarity what's actually going on. So let's talk about let's reveal who is behind this classic. And I'm not saying it wasn't a classic psychological operation. It was a great trolling. But who's behind it? So I pulled up two because I don't want to appear biased or anything. I pulled up Newsweek, which is decidedly left-leaning, and I pulled up Vice. Let's just read this article from Vice. They say the LaRouche PAC took credit for the Jonathan Swift-style trolling, and indeed they did. Here's the actual Twitter. Here's the actual tweet from Lyndon LaRouche PAC. This political action committee is decidedly pro-Trump, and they say it was us. Speaking about what we just saw about this lady saying, eat the baby so we can save the climate, save the planet. Malthusianism isn't new. Jonathan Swift knew that. Sometimes only satire works. Malthusianism is a concept where where it says that the growth of the population is potentially exponential, while food production is linear. So the more people you have, the less likely you'll be able to support and sustain that population with the production of food. That's Malthusianism. Let me just turn this around so we can see that. So these are the guys. This is the revelation of who is behind that classic, and it was classic, guys. This classic trolling attempt by the LaRouche group. But listen to what Vice continues to say. Let me just. Hopefully you guys can see that. Thanks for sticking with me, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you hit the like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. There's a lot of YouTube censorship. If you've been keeping up with what Steven Crowder's having to go through and all the YouTube suppression, it really helps when you hit the like button and when you share these videos. I'm going to try to keep this under 30 minutes, guys, so I'm going to go fast. When a woman screamed that society should, quote, start eating babies to fight climate change at a town hall hosted by Democratic Representative AOC this week, it seemed almost too strange to be real. You think? I think anybody who's got half a brain or two brain cells to rub together knew that this was a troll right from the start. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if she was a troll or if she was being serious. What really matters is the reaction or the lack of reaction from not only the crowd, but also from AOC, the appropriate human reaction of, hey, let me set the record straight. Yeah, we love the planet and we want to take care of this climate change crisis, but God, we are not going to eat babies to do it. You would think that that would be the least that you could say, but they're so worried about hurting feelings and they're so concerned about being proper as they walk on eggshells around everybody. They can't bring themselves to say the obvious. Taking the obvious moral position. Turns out it was too strange to be real. The whole thing was a troll job from far-right fringe group. A far-right fringe group. Always got to throw that in here. The LaRouche PAC, a right-wing group that supports Donald Trump and thinks climate change is a hoax. Thinks? Look, guys, climates are changing, okay? Period. But the climatology religion that Greta Thunberg and the like are trying to foist on the masses. Here, check your brains at the door. Climate change is real, and if you disagree, you're an idiot. That's basically what they're saying. If you disagree that climate change is real and it's destroying the planet, we only have 12 years left to turn this thing around, or it's irreversible. If you don't believe us, then you're an absolute idiot. End of story. And they don't even engage in any kind of legitimate argument. Took credit for the odd outburst later that night on Twitter, and I already read this. It was us. Malthusianism isn't new. Jonathan Swift, that's the guy who wrote Gulliver's Travels, knew that. Sometimes only satire works, the group said. The moment at AOC's town hall on Thursday was captured by C-SPAN and naturally went viral. Well, of course it did. Of course it did. That's what they want. This solidifies people in the left versus right paradigm lie. Oh God, I got to vote so that we can get this crazy AOC out of office so that the Republicans can take over because we know things are better when Republicans are in the House, right? No. Federal Reserve is still raping and pillaging us financially. The IRS is still the domestic terror organization under Republicans or Democrats. The military-industrial complex continues to grow. Israel's hand continues to be in the back pocket of every one of us, and they continue to stay in the driver's seat. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat. Look how the Republicans and Democrats slobber over Bibi Netanyahu when he appears in Congress. What was it, 39 standing ovations last time he came? It's ridiculous, obscene, and it's just insanity. And if you doubt that Israel's our enemy, look up the USS Liberty. That's all you need to know. There's way more, guys. But look up the USS Liberty. 34 Navy men died. 171 seriously wounded with a constant barrage of Israeli airplanes bombing the USS Liberty. They're our friends? Nope, don't think so. Toward the end of the event, the woman stood up and said she loved the Green New Deal, but felt it didn't go far enough. Come on, Vice, have some proofreaders. We got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time, she yelled out, while also wearing a shirt urging people to eat the children. I don't know if I said this before, but her shirt, in case you couldn't read it, said "Save the planet, eat the children." As the woman got increasingly worked up, Ocasio-Cortez tried to calm her down and told her, "It's okay." No, it's not. It's not okay, AOC. It's really not okay. She then continued to talk about climate change and ignored the comment about babies. Yeah, that's the whole point. She ignored the comment about babies, the very thing you wouldn't ignore if you're a normal human being. Seemingly unaware, the woman was apparently working with a pro-Trump group. The Trump family was quick to jump on the moment as an opportunity to poke at AOC. Seems like normal AOC supporter to me, said Donald Trump Jr. AOC's a whack job, said President Trump. AOC had repeatedly urged this woman to be treated with compassion because she may have been in a crisis. Friday, the freshman Democrat tweeted a reaction, and we already read that reaction. The bottom line to this thing is it's a double, maybe triple-decker psychological operation. And it's truly classic, guys. I don't even know. I can't even express to you how big this is, because even though the LaRouche group is probably, if they're pro-Trump, they're pro-Israeli, which means they're anti-American. They're pro-take the guns first, due process second. They're pro-civil asset forfeiture. They're pro-drug war. They're pro all this crap that completely takes away freedom from Americans. But you have to admit, you have to give credit where credit is due. This is a classic psychological trolling operation where this trauma-based psychological garbage that's been going on for decades and decades. They're just seasoning us. They don't call it television programming for nothing. We're being programmed to accept this as normal. We're being programmed to accept this as, okay, I need to hunker down in my position so I can vote red this time to get out the blues. And they're being hunkered down in their position. I need to vote blue so I can get out the reds. But we're still slaves on the same plantation, vying for the different position of a new slave master, a new plantation owner. But we're still stuck on the Federal Reserve plantation, and we got to get out. And the only way to get out is to stop voting. Remember what Stalin said? He said, it doesn't matter who the people vote for. Every vote is a vote for us. So we're unwittingly, literally voting for evil, to the point where people constantly say, well, I'm voting for the lesser of two evils. You're admitting that you're voting for evil. That's how society individually has been reduced to, well, I got to vote for evil because I got to vote for curtain number 2 evil because curtain number 1 evil is obviously evil. So I got to vote for the more deceptive evil, or what you think is more deceptively evil. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you guys. LaRouche is behind this. They took credit for it. It was a complete troll campaign, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What really matters is how the crowd responded. Actually, how the crowd didn't respond, and how AOC didn't respond appropriately as a human being. So guys, if you want to support this channel, one of the best things you can do is just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my main channel, which is High Impact Flicks. This is my backup channel, High Impact Vlogs. They're literally killing my 500,000 subscriber channel, where I don't even get 10,000 views a day anymore. So, and if you want to support the channel, just hit that like button, share this video with everybody you know. If you want to, these new shirts are in. This right here is Elements of Defense, a little play on the periodic table. AK-47, AR-15. Yeah, come and take them, Beto. Better grab these while you can, or Beto's gonna confiscate these too. Anyway, I have that, and people were requesting that I just talk a little bit about this. This is the new design from last night. See what you guys think about it. These tools no longer identify as guns. They identify as wireless peacekeeping devices. Use the proper term, or you're a racist bigot. Don't be a racist bigot. Help this channel out and get your shirt. Anyway, the link will be in the description after this video gets done processing, or it's in the link in the last video. I really appreciate your support, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I got to head out of here. But the bottom line to this whole thing is there are layers and layers and layers of psychological operation, mainstream media 24/7, Operation Mockingbird propaganda that we need to really cleanse our minds from. That is the first step to a free society. If you don't have a free mind, you're not a free human being. And if your neighbors don't have free minds, you're not going to be a human being. I'm only as free as you are, and you're only as free as I am. So let's be free. And remember, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people will and have secured their own oppression. You guys have a great day.